Oh my God.
What? What the fuck?
They really did it in the first few minutes of this episode. They turned my boy into the Chris Brown of this show. My boy didn't make it 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You couldn't give my boy more time. He needed more time. I needed more time. We just got him back. I needed more time. You know what? Before we do all that, guys, if you are new here, please like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on the alert bell so you never miss another video. And guys, if you're a returning viewer, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you don't have the alert bell turned on, turn it on. What are you doing? Like this video, share it around for your friends. Guys, Daredevil is literally born again. Now, when we say born again, yes, this title is inspired by a amazing comic book run, but majority of that comic book run was covered in the original Netflix series in season 3. So, the show is, an homage to that title in title only, in title only, but it gives so much more meaning because we didn't know if we would get Daredevil back fully. Like, yes, we've had a variant of Daredevil in Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, voiced by Charlie Cox. We've seen Daredevil in She-Hulk. We've seen Daredevil and Echo, but we don't know where in the timeline that all lines up, because even in She-Hulk, that one seems more hopeful than the one we have now. So I mean, I don't know. I hope we get timeline placement as the show goes on. But guys, in the first few minutes, like, we pick up with Foggy, Matt, and Karen, and like, they're happy. They're leaving Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige after a good day. They go to Josie's, the original bar from the original series. Josie is played by the same actress. It was so good seeing them all back. We're introduced to Detective Cherry, and we're introduced to the DA, who also becomes Matt's new law firm partner, Kristen McDuffie. We're introduced to them as well. And I was wondering why they were focusing on them, because Kristen looked like she was trying to rizz up Foggy. Like, you thought Foggy was about to get some play, but no. Foggy gets interrupted by a phone call from a client that he was basically harboring, protecting or whatever, doing what Foggy does. But Matt did not know about this. And he seems worried. He's telling him, like, somebody's after him, somebody's after him. Matt overhears, because, again, the way that they emphasize Matt's super hearing is great. Like I love how they dialed everything up a little bit, with a boosted budget, movie from Netflix to Disney Plus with a boosted budget from the, like the MCU success or whatever you want to call it. So I love how they emphasized how his powers are working now. And you hear, we see him overhearing. So he goes outside and he's telling, like, Foggy, like, why didn't you tell me, like, what's going on? But then we see somebody kill a fly with a paperclip. And the first thing that came into my mind is like, so we're doing Bullseye. Benjamin Poindexter is back in episode 1, right? Right, that's cool. But then we see him fix a flickering light bulb, and then you see the Bullseye logo on his arm, and I got so happy. I got so happy because Benjamin Poindexter is so unhinged in the best way possible. In the best way possible, he's so unhinged. So the guy calls Foggy back after Matt runs off, and before Matt ran off, he said basically, like, Foggy's like, I didn't tell you because I didn't want to give you a reason. And the way Matt looked at him, oh my God! Like, I legitimately, I sat there and said, like, that, wow, like, give him a reason. Yes, Matt has went off the rails before. Matt has killed people, but it has always been for a good, not, you can't justify unaliving somebody. Like, you can't really justify that 99% of the time. He's always done it to protect people. So Matt runs off. We see him swing to the top of a rooftop. When he lands, like just seeing the suit after so long and all its glory, like, that was great to see. But we see that aspect ratio change when he taps into his enhanced hearing, and he hears Foggy say, like, he hears Foggy on the phone again, and the guy says, he wanted to know where you were at, Foggy. I'm sorry. So Matt's running, like, he's hauling it, trying to get back to where Foggy then was. And then we see Bullseye looking through a scope, and pulls the trigger. It just blows Foggy's chest out with that. And yeah, jumps down from the building and starts approaching Karen, and says, "You're next, Karen." But I'm glad Matt got there in time. And that fight that ensues, first of all, Ben, what did half of those people in that building do to you, bro? You killed 11 people. Like, you and Matt, literally, bro, the one take scene, seeing Matt swing in and literally kick him through the window was amazing. Like I love that. I love that. Was the CGI a little bit rough? Yes, but it got better. Seeing him fly in, like just kick him through the window, and like they're just going at it, like they're throwing stuff at each other. He's throwing knives at Matt. They're just getting stuck in Daredevil's chest, and he's just Matt is so pissed because he's constantly listening to Foggy's heart, like just slowly stop beating. So they're going at it, like they're literally fighting all through this building. While they're fighting all through this building, literally up and down the building. Dex is killing people. Like, come on, like Dex is killing people for no good reason, just to just to piss Daredevil off, I guess. I don't know his motives, but we do know that he still does blame Matt for what happened to him, for him getting his spine shattered. But we know he got that experimental surgery to enhance his skeleton. So yeah, what happens after this fight did not surprise me at all, because like they're on the rooftop, like they've removed each other's masks. They're literally they're beating each other senseless. And by the time they get to the rooftop, he's still listening, and Foggy's heart indeed does stop with Karen over his body, just trying to resuscitate him and hold that blood in. And Matt just says, like, Matt just pushes him off the building, and he goes kerplop, like just falls, like goes kerplop right there, and you think it's, and then you see Karen hoping it, like part of me thinks, and my wife thinks the same thing. Part of me thinks that Karen was hoping that it wasn't Matt that hit the pavement, but at the same time, she's just like, I'm just surrounded by dead bodies. But lo and behold, that dude ain't dead. His eyes open. His eyes open up. So we jump a year into the future, and this is after Cherry goes up to the rooftop and sees Matt just standing there. Well, kneeling there, crying, revealing that he is Daredevil. He is the devil of Hell's Kitchen. And while all of this is ensuing, this is happening during Cherry's retirement party. And we also get our first look at White Tiger, and they name drop him along with Daredevil, talking about, like, how the vigilantes have been handling everything and how the police should do more. And that's a huge focal point of this season, because we know Wilson Fisk ends up running and winning the mayoral campaign. And one of his big talking points is the fact that he doesn't want anything to do with vigilantes. Vigilantes will be outlawed once he excuse me, once he becomes mayor. Once he becomes mayor, and that's one of his big talking points. Because why? Well, let's not forget that one of them shot him in the eye and then forced him to relive his trauma. If you have not seen Echo, it's not the greatest show, but it's not terrible. They had some good moments. I love Maya Lopez. I can't wait to see if they bring her back and just give her a little better writing. But that is neither here nor there. So we pick up a year later. We see that Matt does indeed take Foggy's obituary with him wherever he goes, and I like that. We get introduced to the new law firm. We get introduced to Matt's new loft, and which is it's a nice apartment. He has a nice apartment. He's doing well for himself now. We find out that he is going to the sentencing for Benjamin Poindexter, and he finds it hard to like just sit there. Benjamin's like sitting there with no remorse because he doesn't really care what he did, even though he's being sentenced to life for 11 counts of manslaughter, like 11 counts of like you killed 11 people and did not care. So he's getting sentenced for that, rightfully so. When Matt's sitting there, he does indeed hear the footsteps of Karen. They have a heart to heart. He like basically we find out that Matt basically abandoned Karen after Foggy died, and Karen's like, you weren't the only one that lost somebody that day, and you can't really act like that. Then she asks about Daredevil, and he says, I can't do that anymore. I gave into the darkness, yada yada yada. And I get where he's coming from, but the devil of Hell's Kitchen is needed, and the sooner he realizes that, the better. So yeah, we learned that Karen has been living in San Francisco, so that basically writes that character off to just return and guest starring appearances, I guess, because we know that Karen and Foggy originally were not supposed to be a part of the show before Kevin Feige came in and said, you know what, we're going to overhaul this. I want this to be a spiritual successor to the original Netflix show. We have to give the fans what they want, and I appreciate that. Foggy's entire death, I get it, but at the same time I don't. You want to give your heroes that tragic story to kickstart what am I trying to say, to well, basically, for short, to kickstart their new stories or whatever, to give them that reason. But I mean, Matt already lost his dad. He already lost Elektra. I don't know. I really would have liked to have seen Foggy last a little bit more, but I just got up this morning and realized, looking on Twitter, that potentially Foggy and Karen are returning in season 2. So how that's gonna work, I don't know. Karen's still alive, Foggy's not. But Cherry and Kristen are the new status quo for Matt's friends in this world. He has not been back to Hell's Kitchen in quite some time. We learned that when he is meeting with Wilson Fisk. Wilson Fisk is looking a lot more trim these days, guys. You know how my reviews be. They're not in any specific order. But Wilson Fisk is looking very trim these days. I do understand that Vincent D'Onofrio said it was hard to keep gaining and losing weight. So we even see him eating a healthy breakfast before he goes to his closet to pick out a suit. We see the classic white Kingpin suit, but he's like, no, he's gonna pick a black, I think it was a black suit or a gray suit, just to help him look more mayoral. He's trying to basically cover up that whole Kingpin persona. That way people will believe in him, I guess. But nobody's gonna believe in you, dude. Everybody knows that you're like a mass murderer. You're like a psychopath. If they don't believe it, a lot of people are on your side, surprisingly. But I mean, in this day and age, I mean, look at literally what just happened in the real world. Like, we're just gonna leave that there. Look what happened in the real world. We see like Matt is basically like, he's pissed that all of this is happening. We also do get introduced to a love interest for Matt, a new love interest, Heather. She was also introduced in the original Daredevil film, but it was only through voicemail only. Yes, she's from the comics. She is one of Matt's major love interests, and it's good to see they introduce her here. I don't know if she's long for this world, because she does meet, I think his name is Bastion, he was credited as, but I do believe that he's played by Hunter Doohan. I do believe that he's going to end up being Muse. So I don't know if she's long for this world. Also, she's the marital counselor for Fisk and Vanessa, because we do know that after Fisk was shot and he did step away from Vanessa, well, she started well, first of all, she started running the Five Families, and we get reintroduced to the Tracksuit Mafia, which was first introduced to us in Hawkeye. So it's good to see that back. And she's the one wearing the white power suit now. So she's running the Five Families. And she even brought up the fact that, like, I'm in a meeting for the Five Families, and you just show up and stand there, and the meeting is over. Like, that still shows that Kingpin has a lot of power in this world. But then we are also introduced to Hector Ayala. I probably butchered the pronunciation of his last name, but rest in peace to that actor. I've known him from All American, when he played Coach Montez, and it was very sad to hear about his passing back in December of 2023. But it's good to see him in what will be his final role. He's doing a phenomenal job. We do get to see the suit. We get to see the amulet in which he channels his power from. It's hilarious that Cherry went in looking for a suit for him to, but I mean, we knew he was snooping, but he wasn't expecting to find that suit, because anybody could, if they found it that easily and found out, then the people that are trying to convict him of this crime, because he did not kill that cop, but they were dirty cops. He was only trying to do his due diligence, and that guy tripped trying to push him in front of that train. So, like, a dirty cop gets killed trying to kill somebody else who's trying to stop you from killing somebody. Yeah, it's an open and shut case, but you know how this police corruption runs rampant in some of these towns, and this is just a prime example. We do learn that later on in the episode, because Matt is following this guy, trying to figure out where he is, because the guy that Hector helped could be a key witness in proving Hector's innocence. He does find out where he lives. Those cops do show up, and Matt's, just giving them a quid pro quo, quipping with him a little bit, and they start fighting. And Matt tells them, "You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. I'm blind. I can't see. I don't know where the guy went." But they punch him. They start roughing him up, and Matt loses it. And we do see that one of the guy's sleeves comes up, and he has a Punisher tattoo on his arm. I want to say that that's a homage to the real world thing of how cops were, using the Punisher logo on their cars or whatever, because they liked the way that he handled business. That was a real world thing a couple years ago, and it's kind of cool that they're pulling it into this show. I don't think the Punisher knows, like, that the police are doing that, but I think that's going to be a big aspect of his character and trying to reclaim his persona. So I can't wait to see Frank Castle come back whenever he does indeed show up. But these first two episodes, they were a strong introduction back into this world. Seeing like Kingpin literally used his power to get a hole fixed, which proves that these politicians and people in charge could get these potholes fixed. They just choose not to. They always say it takes a lot of red tape, and Fisk literally proved like you could do it like that, like just fill it in, bro. Like that was really cool to see. We're also introduced to BB Urich, who is Ben Urich's niece. He was killed off in the first season of the original Daredevil show, so it's good to see her. I hope she treads lightly, especially around Fisk. But guys, this show, it's a strong return. I give these 2 episodes a solid 9.5 out of 10. I have to deduct points because the CGI was a little bit wonky at times, but you could tell that the budget has been raised. The bar has been raised, and this is some of the best not Netflix. This is some of the best Marvel MCU television that we have gotten. And X-Men 97, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, now Daredevil. Like, keep that bar raised for whatever is next. Guys, like I said, if you are new here, please like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about these 2 episodes down below in the comment section, and I will catch you all next time. I gotta go pour one out for Foggy.